971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. REV-UP St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hi, this is Lotus. Join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on REV-UP St. Lucia for Unrestricted. What we don't talk about, what we should talk about, and what we will be talking about. Don't forget to join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on REV-UP St. Lucia for Unrestricted.
It's now time for Unrestricted, hosted by the lovely Lotus. Lotus, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm good. Good morning. Good morning.
Family is well as well?
Everybody is good, Andre. Thank God for that.
All right.
Good morning to X and good morning to YouTube and Facebook, Radio Land.
So who's that X of yours? Who's that one?
Who's that X? Good morning to all the X's, Andre. Good morning everyone. Welcome back to another Unrestricted. I'm excited.
I know you are.
Yes, Andre. How was your independence, Andre? You had a good one?
Oh, it was enjoyable, but also challenging.
Challenging?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I had a good one. Quiet.
Mine wasn't quiet at all.
It wasn't quiet. Okay.
That's for sure.
Let's not go there. You'll tell me about it off air. Okay, this morning, Andre and listeners, we're going to be talking about airing your dirty laundry on social media. What you smiling at, Andre?
No, I'm smiling because I was talking about something. I don't know if you plan to go there, Lotus. When my daughter, when she was here, she downloaded Snapchat for me on my phone, right? She says that it takes out, you can take some nice pics using Snapchat. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. But I mean, I get all these friend requests and so on.
Yeah.
And like a whole bunch of ladies just doing happy show with themselves.
Oh, really?
And they all doing the same thing.
The same thing?
Just shaking their butt.
You're not impressed?
No, at all. At all.
Well, Andre.
So is that hanging your dirty laundry on social media?
I guess if you want to look at it like that, but we're going to be talking about this morning when you have issues, because social media now is a big platform, and I think sometimes we forget or we don't know or realize that our digital footprint is sort of our resume, so to speak. It's the same thing. And now, so people can look at the things you do on social media to actually give you a job, right? So there's a lot of things we don't take into consideration when we use social media, and we use it so loosely now. And so I want to talk about airing our dirty laundry, because sometimes when you have a fight with your family or friend, or even, just work, some people go to social media and use social media as a platform to vent.
Yes.
You know? And so we want to discuss why it's not the best place.
Let me just give you an example. David Beckham has a son.
Yes.
And apparently they're going through some issues.
That's right.
That's the sort of thing you're talking about.
Yes.
Because he's speaking publicly about what's going on.
Yes. And so these things, I mean, it can really, really put a damper on not only the family, but yourself. It can really heighten stress, send people into all kind of frenzies, because the thing about it is that it's all well and good to have something done in the privacy of your own home or the privacy of your relationship, but to now give people carte blanche to give their opinions. And some of us, we are so sensitive. Some of us, we're so sensitive. We're so thin-skinned, and so we take the comments personally, and that could do a lot of damage.
That is true. I think,
and some of us don't think of it like that.
Yeah. That singer Ed Sheeran, he said he actually had to come off social media.
Of course, we are human, Andre.
Because he said, people were the trolls.
Yes,
they were at him.
And we have allowed social media to define us, to define what we like, to define who we like. Even in relationships, Andre, we use the social media as a place to express or to measure how much our partners love us or recognize us. Imagine that.
Really?
Yes, like if your boyfriend does not post you, or if you don't post your
that sort of
boyfriend,
thing.
or when you post a picture of your boyfriend, if he gets how many likes, and then it can be monitored to see who is liking it. It creates,
okay.
that kind of thing.
All
So
right.
so we have taken social media as the place to tell us how beautiful we are or not, how much our man loves us or not, how much your woman that kind of thing.
Yes.
So we've really gone into the world of social media, and it is really ripping us apart if we don't pull back the reins sometimes. So airing your dirty laundry is not something you want. It's not social media isn't a place where you vent, air your dirty laundry, or have a meltdown. Too many people, especially the younger generation, they're saying, according to the research, are venting on social media, whether it is about a relationship, a work issue, or whatever it may be. You may go viral, but you will also turn off some people. These people could either potentially be your bosses, they can hire you, or do business with you. Don't think of social media as a place for therapy. That's what the therapist or a friend or your family is for. So what this is saying is, don't replace social media as a place to just vent. Now, there are situations, and I'm sure our callers will tell us that there are situations when somebody goes to social media and it may be warranted. For instance, if somebody stole your stuff, a particular business is stealing, and somebody wants to bring light to the fact that this person has stolen, they could use that. But even then, they're saying, you may want to pull the person up. Now, sometimes some people have no other choice because maybe they've spoken to the person, they've gone and tried to resolve it, and the person continue to ignore them or to, continue doing what they're doing. So don't think of social media as a place for therapy. Like we were saying, that's what the therapist or a friend is for. Whether you like it or not, social media is your online resume. Whether we like it or not, Andre, because people sometimes we use people's digital footprint and their online presence to judge them, to determine what kind of person we're dealing with. We use that. No matter if you tell somebody, well, I don't put things I believe in on my page, and you have certain things, they will use it to determine, oh, she's pro-life, or she's this and that. So sometimes we have to even watch what we post, because it is our online resume. You may not care.
So what about those people who are just not putting their business out there online, the Facebook, and sharing pics and all? Like me, for example. If somebody has to do any investigations,
They will not find anything, Andre?
well, I guess they have to really search.
Well, they'll find what they need to find in terms of, okay, you're a radio announcer, you understand? They will go on REV-UP, they will find, there are things, right? But then your personal business, who you like, who you don't like, you don't put that on social media.
Who you're dating, who your boyfriend is.
Because for you, it's private, and for you, it is, and I believe that I believe the same thing. It really gives you a sense of ownership of your own life when you do not put everything on social media. You know what I mean? Like you have that mystery. I like to have a little bit of mystery, Andre, where everybody does not have to know everything about you or everything that's happening. I mean, if you really think about it, now we have influencers that live their lives on social media.
Yes, imagine that.
And the camera, just like reality TV, they record everything. And so even when they have relationships, it's on there. So when there's a fight, everybody is privy to your information. And I've even seen comments where when some people break up or they're having issues, and they say, please give us our privacy, people will say to them, well, no, we cannot give you your privacy, because you've exposed yourself from day one. We want to know. We are curious to know what's going on. You understand? So they tend to harass you and not let you get away with that. So I think people have to care about their online resume and how much they share and what they share.
But I must admit, you have those who are a lot more mature, like some of the celebrities who will tell you, so-and-so and myself, we're no longer dating.
Yes.
They will tell you that. But I find when it comes to that aspect of things, our people in St. Lucia, that's one thing they don't share when things break up. When you see things are hot,
they put it.
Oh, man.
And that's the thing they're saying too, because you should be able to, just kind of manage how much you put out there, even when you're seeing someone. Because the thing about it is that sometimes we put all the sweet things when we're seeing the person, and when we break up, again, we air our dirty laundry, we go on quarrel. The person is a dog, a pig, and you have had pictures with the person, showing how lovey-dovey. So that's why partially they're saying too, when you have your issues, do not put everything out there.
That's a good point. There's a video that was making the rounds a few weeks ago with a young lady who apparently has access to somebody's phone. And she was destroying this phone. And that was actually being recorded. And of course, that was on social media.
Yes.
Her face, you could see her face, everything.
And so this is what this is saying, because the thing about it is that when we are angry, when we are emotional, the last place to go is on social media, because you have no control. You're so upset. You're in that space of anger. So you're not really thinking of the things you're putting or saying, because you're in a rage, right?
And you're only thinking of today, because as you said a while ago, tomorrow you want to get a job, somebody goes to check it out and they see you behaving like that. I mean, that's just going to hamper your chances of getting a good job. That's
what I'm saying. And people judge you on that. They wouldn't say, oh, she was upset in that time.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say that. So we have to be very, very careful. So respect your relationship by keeping personal issues off public platforms. And we're getting worse and worse and worse, because the public platform is where we vent. I mean, if you look at even our political dirty laundry, it has gotten so bad where some people take the politicians' personal lives, or if the politician was in a relationship, or they take it and they just put everything out there. And then when somebody wants a job, then you turn around and say, oh, the person is not giving you a job. But don't forget, we are human beings first. So this person is hurt, right? Very hurt. And if you look at how we have had such division in our politics, some things is because of things we say on social media about each other. So we have to be very careful when we get angry, and when we have our dirty laundry, don't put it online. Social media, posting passive aggressive comments or explicit details about relationship struggles rarely ends well and makes both partners look bad, right? You have passive aggressive. Even sometimes you see certain things people will say. It will be sarcastic, maybe about somebody else. And the thing about us is that we read between the lines very well, whether it's right or wrong. You understand? So we'll see Andre say something about REV-UP, and we will start to think of all sorts of things. Our mind, it runs wild, Andre. Sometimes you cannot believe the things you see in the comments, because people will just start to speculate and just make, all kind of wild accusations in their head. Public arguments. Arguing in front of others often escalates issues rather than solving them.
Let me ask you, guys like Mark Zuckerberg, these guys have the ability to think ahead, right? Do you think guys like Mark Zuckerberg had any idea this is how social media was going to be used, especially Facebook? Did he have any idea?
I think to a certain extent, yes, he did, because I think there was extensive. I mean, when you do the research and you read about social media now, there's a lot of thought given in terms of how they use us and our psychological prowess in terms of how we relate. They use there are a lot of things that they use on social media to put us in brackets, to to determine. And so I think some thought there was maybe again, like you say, maybe to the extent that certain things begin to damage people. Maybe, just maybe, and I put that in inverted commas, because we're finding out so many things now, Andre. We don't know the motive of certain people when they do things, right?
And he's in court right now.
That's what I'm saying. So now
that's what I'm saying. Do you think he had any idea where this was going?
But the good thing about it, Andre, is that comes with the territory. Maybe he should have had some idea, because the thing is, if you're now going to mess up people to the extent that they are zombies, right? You have children online being bullied. You have people who take their lives. So if you're gonna create a product that will trap us and cause us to just go crazy, you understand? Then, I mean, there must be some kind of recourse in terms of you losing some of that money. You understand? Because regulation is something that also you should have thought of in terms of making sure certain things are done. Because if you look at certain countries around the world, they have certain regulations that curb social media usage to a certain extent, right? As opposed to some countries who just let everything rip and you can say anything and do anything.
In fact, right now, I think you have Australia, you have England, a whole bunch of them, France, they're all considering stopping
because they can see the
social media
effects.
for children under 16.
You're right.
Completely.
They can see the effects because people get, I mean, I speak to colleagues all the time who tell me that as grown men and women, people are so addicted to social media that you cannot even have a proper conversation with them. They do not hear anything you're saying. So even at the dinner table, you say something to your husband or your wife, and the next day they watch you like, what are you talking about? Because they never heard it. It doesn't register because they're on their phones.
And I've seen ladies doing this thing when, for example, they are dancers and so on, and they say dancing with a guy, for example. And tell me, what do you think of that? Because I feel it's just so disrespectful. And they on their phone while they're dancing with a guy.
Dancing whilst dancing?
Yes, they're on their phone.
You see, I mean, that's...
They even take calls in all the noise.
That speaks to a certain level of addiction. That's why I'm saying it's addiction. Sometimes we cannot even put the phone down for an hour.
That's true.
If we are not fully engaged.
I understand some people, if they go to take a shower, it's in there with them.
It's in there. That's the thing about it. I have decided, and it's small changes that you have to implement. I have decided not to sleep with my phone. I don't want my phone anywhere near me, because the thing about it is that when you start doing that, you find yourself in bed on the phone. Sometimes when you have to sleep, you're not sleeping because you're on the phone. You know, that kind of thing. But it's that level of addiction, Andre, that is happening with us. That's why we are becoming more and more. And you would think that we're online talking more, but we become more and more disconnected.
Also?
Because we judge each other so harshly that people don't speak to each other directly, Andre. That's part of airing their dirty laundry. They don't call each other and speak to each other directly. You put things out there and people begin to judge you and you feel embarrassed and you're alone and you know the loneliness, everything is eating you because don't forget, like I said, we are human first. We are human first, Andre. It doesn't matter what none of us say, because again, social media really promotes the idea of I'm my own person, and you do stuff for likes, but nobody sees behind the closed doors when you go in your house at night, right? So we are human. We feel bad, we feel hurt when somebody is saying stuff about us that's probably not true, or they're painting a picture about us that we don't like, right?
I wonder, as you said that, Lotus, whether we realize that we are addicted to this thing. I wonder if we're aware, because
I think some of us are aware, because again, it should shift us, especially if you have self-awareness and a certain level of self-regulation. You will realize that your need for your phone is more, right? When you don't see your phone, you begin to hyperventilate, or if you lose it, Andre, you know what I mean? So if you are aware of your own personal habits, you will realize that something is off. Why do you need your phone all the time? Why do you cannot shift without your phone?
Or pull it off.
Or you cannot put it off, or you cannot let it rest for a while before, so you can have a conversation. And some of us really cannot have a full conversation without looking at the phone, Andre. Even people who go on dates, Andre, they're on their phone.
But I just told you about the ladies who are dancing with guys.
Dancing is another thing.
On the phone.
But if dancing is crazy, Andre.
I find that to be disrespectful.
In your movement, you on the phone?
On the phone. I see it all the time.
That is a new one.
And you see so many of the young ladies in particular, when they come to these country and western old school dances, most of them, they're just on their phone. I say, I wonder what they talking about, what they chatting about.
And that's the thing we miss. We miss the value in the enjoyment of the activity that we are there to do. We really miss the value, Andre. We cannot connect to the dance. If you're on your phone, you miss all the melody and all the music and the
even
connection
connecting
with the person.
to the person that you're there with.
The person that you're there. So, I mean, so they're saying that people do it because people.
Something just crossed my mind. I wonder if some people do it like when they're busy, they're doing their thing. if they're going to phone?
Who knows if it's getting to the place where the phone is our first love, so it means that you ignore whatever that's going on and you're on the phone, Andre. Why do people do it? They say it stems from poor social skills, a family culture of oversharing or desire to win. That's why some people go to social media and air their dirty laundry. Maybe it's a family culture where they're fighting and they have to, for you to get attention, you have to put it on air for somebody to take your side and for you to win an argument. Some people may go on there to see how people feel about their position. But the thing about it is that it just creates more division and more problems. I mean, if you look at some of there's a new beef, they call it a beef between the rappers, rapper T.I. and rapper 50 Cent. Now, 50 Cent is very, he's a troll. He for a grown
Who's
man.
Who's this person? 50 Cent?
50 Cent.
Oh, 50 Cent.
Yeah,
50 Cent.
50 Cent. He's always on social media saying things about people, like, you know, that kind of thing. And for
I think he
man,
was on P. Diddy's case, right?
Yes, and for a grown man, I just think, like, if you're gonna take your time just to always be negative about, you know, and now there's a big fight between him and T.I. because he spoke poorly of T.I.'s wife. He brought T.I.'s wife
on social media.
Exactly. And then, of course, because T.I.'s wife now have children, one of her children is rightly upset and took to social media. So everything is out there, and the fights are just brewing on social media. So that's what we're talking about. When you take your beef and your issues to social media, it just does not augur well.
So just tell me, Lotus, what is the thinking behind, because you spoke about dirty laundry, so yes. I think we also post clean laundry as well. Things like, for example, your wedding, your birthday party, right? You go to a dinner, you have a certain drink in your hand,
yes.
You're at a pool.
Well, there's something called oversharing.
So I'm just curious to know, what is the thinking behind that? What's driving that sort of thing?
Well, one of the things
that people
they're saying,
actually want people to know their business or something.
Yes, Andre. One of the reasons for airing your dirty laundry or even clean laundry, the dirty laundry is when you want to vent. Some use it as a way to release frustration or seek sympathy, right? Support or validation, which is a big thing for us in the world, and I think validation is like it cannot be more. It's not. We cannot understate that. People look for validation.
Explain what you mean looking for validation.
People may be looking for advice or to feel less alone in their struggles, or for you to confirm that they are actually what they say they are. Or, like, for instance, okay, if you're a girl, look at the likes situation. So if you post a picture with a new butt, you are actually waiting to see how many people will like the photo, so that it validates that you look good, that you have done the right thing. It's the validation. Yes, I am doing the right thing. Yes, people like me. Because normally we are empty. We don't like ourselves, so we look for people to like us, Andre. That's what the likes is about. And some people get so depressed if the likes does not reach the number that they anticipate it would reach.
So take us a little deeper, Lotus. So why don't we like ourselves? Because, I mean, I think by now we all should know that learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all, right? So why is it that we still, what is it that we don't?
Well, the tool of social media.
Because if you speak to the average person, you ask them, do you like yourself? Are you sure?
Of course, they'll say that. But, Andre, the tool of social media, you know how society, social media, outside influences, we've gotten, and that's why we're talking about social media, we've gotten so bad in terms of letting these things take over our lives. So social media really tells us who we are, and we believe it. That's what I'm saying. So the validation is we've used social media as a place to express love for us through the likes.
And by the way, you know, anytime I read about these kinds of things, they always tell you how many millions of followers that this person has.
But that's what I'm saying.
Almost like
and that's
a
what
badge
really,
of honor.
Yes, so that's what really tells you whether you're good or not, whether you're doing something.
Okay, so the more,
so the more likes, the more endorsements, and again the comments
or followers.
Or followers. Some people look at the comments as well, just to make sure, and some may share to combat the pressure to not only post to only post perfect lives on social media. Some of us want to make sure that people see how we live in and that we always
Successful?
in Paris, we successful.
Yeah.
We post every single thing we do. We're going on a trip, we have to post all our pictures of the trip.
Right.
And the thing about it is that, again, some people actually get really jealous. Some people feel really inadequate because they cannot do that, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things that happen.
So do you think that this is part of the motive, that the people who post those things to show you, listen, I'm enjoying the good life kind of thing?
Well, of course,
and to make you
one of the things,
wonder or actually wish that
it's one of the things, Andrew.
you could be like them. The people who are following you could be like them.
That's
Do you think
right.
that's part of it?
I think that's part of it, Andre. Part of it is to show you what I can do, to maybe
Where I can go.
where I can go, to make you envious, to make me feel good that I have reached a milestone. So there are good things, but at the same time, when we overshare, this is what we're talking about. When you overshare,
So how do we know when we get to that point? How would we know what oversharing?
when you cannot keep anything private, you cannot keep anything private. You have to put everything out there. Your husband says to you, we're going to go and have dinner, you don't have to post that. I would like that to be our thing, but you still want to post a couple pictures because you want people to know you went to dinner at that particular restaurant. So nothing is private anymore. Andre, share the numbers so that the callers can
I'm
let
sure
us know
our listeners can
if
identify
they're oversharing and they're
topic.
venting on social media.
Okay. If you'd like to contribute, the fixed line is 572-9710, 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Again, the fixed line 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971. I'm sure we all can relate to what Lotus is talking about here today.
Yes.
The vast majority of us.
And in an article by on the Medium by R.R. Lennon, one of the quotes that she had that I really like, it said, think twice before letting the world in on your hurt. Think twice
Why?
before letting the world in on your hurt.
Why is that?
Because
Why did
they
you
will
think
drag
twice?
you, Andre. You let them in on your hurt, on your pain. It end up turning into a big, it gets worse. Very rarely, people put their dirty laundry out in the streets and anybody washes it. They drag it more, Andre. It's more dirty. You know what I mean? I know it sounds funny, but it's true. Nobody washes it. Everybody just want to rip it apart, and so by the time you come out there, you are much worse. You are in a worse position than you were before, right? We all have that one friend who can't help but run to social media as soon as someone significant has wronged them. Putting your business in the street might feel like a good idea when you're at the height of emotion, but it can be harmful and result in a range of negative outcomes. And we look at the negative outcomes that it can result in, right? One of the things is humiliation, and we never think of that. We get so humiliated when somebody takes our business or put it out in the street, drag us in the street. Look at for instance, when certain people break up and they have taken explicit photos and the guy or the girl decide to put out the explicit photos.
Hold your thought.
We have a call.
We have a call. So please hold that thought. I want you to get back to that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Thank you. Good morning, Lotus. Good morning, Andre.
Morning, cuz.
Good morning.
Yes. Lotus, you said something earlier on. You hit the nail on the head.
Uh-huh.
Young people nowadays just cannot stick to you person to person.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is social media. You have a little confusion with your trivial argument. As soon as you leave, they start texting you and telling you everything. You ask them, what's your problem? Nothing. I'm okay. As soon as you leave, then they start texting you and giving you all kind of excuses.
That's true.
And you just ask them.
That's true.
Yes.
You're driving from Castries to Beaufort with them, or from Beaufort to Castries. Okay? And if you don't say A, they don't say B.
Mm-hmm.
They will sit in that vehicle. They know where they're going to. They know what you're going to go and do. They have no problem with that. But they're not going to say a word. Not a word. I honestly, it is just amazing. And then you go on the page. Oh my God.
They have
They
everything.
have the most things to post.
Yes.
They have the most things to post. And another thing about young people nowadays, everybody feel posting that $27 cocktail is the best thing that ever happened since the invention of the wheel.
Yeah.
You know, everybody sticks to that thing. It's like, well, especially, I don't know, the young women, they're worse of the lot. And it is so true what you said. I'm enjoying the program this morning. Very, very interesting.
Thank you.
But yes, Andrew, to answer your question, okay? My office is my phone, okay? If I'm doing something and I see a call coming in there to make some money, I will take the call.
Of course.
I won't stop, but I'll take my call. Okay? All right, beautiful.
Yes,
all right,
thank
guys,
you.
take care.
No, but the thing about it is that when it becomes addictive is when you have to have the phone, even though you it's not for business. You just it's stuck to your hand. You cannot. You almost get an anxiety attack if you don't have your phone. And I think we have become more anxious if we don't have our phones. And before, we didn't have any phones, Andrew. Before.
Well, we
had no phones.
We had fixed lines.
So that's
stayed home.
So we didn't have to call. We wouldn't know that somebody was unhappy or somebody went to a restaurant until we met them for them to explain to us the experience, right? But now we get it in real time. So I was talking about humiliation, Andrew, and I was talking about the fact that when you're in a relationship and you've taken certain photos or you've done certain videos in the privacy of the relationship, and all of a sudden now you all have broken up, and one party in the relationship is just so angry and take that information and put it out there. We have seen people,
countless.
mess up people's reputation by doing that. And one of the things I was saying is humiliation. The level of humiliation, as serious as you might be when letting the world know what you've been going through at the expense of someone else, have you thought about what you'll do next? Research shows that 37 to 65% of couples get back together after breaking up, depending on the age. That being said,
what are the statistics?
37 to 65%. Between 37 to 65%. And that came from prenup.com, where they're saying that couples get back together after the breakup. And sometimes after you've done all these things, you've now humiliated the person. How do you expect to mend things? Right?
So you're saying instead of humiliating the person like that, you should just wait. Because based on these statistics,
you shouldn't be doing it.
It seems as though people make up.
Yeah, because of course, Andrew, you do things again. That's why I'm saying when we are so angry, we should not be going to social media. Because in the heat of the moment, you run to social media. Who knows? After you've put it out there, you have now had a change of heart because somebody called you to speak to you, and you now explain, and the person is saying, "But no, you were wrong." And when you really think about it, you say to yourself, I was wrong. And now you've already blast that out there. And one of the comments I've seen in just the research is that your online outburst is always there. Somebody has saved it. You understand? So even though you go back and delete all your photos and delete the comments, somebody, it's there for posterity. So you have to be very careful. It adds fuel to the fire. The other thing is that when you air out your dirty laundry, it adds fuel. Remember I was saying it doesn't wash your laundry, it just rips it apart. It adds fuel to the fire. Engulfed with emotion, logic shoots out of the window. We're simply not thinking too deeply about the consequences of our actions. Whatever drama already unfolded is one thing, but the writer cannot begin to tell you the amount of times a small matter blew up into a whole family affair because of each person adding their 2 cents, saying too much, and roping in others. Now all of a sudden, your favorite auntie isn't speaking to anyone, and you don't get why. So the adding fuel to the fire, everybody has an opinion, and next thing you know, people have said so many things that you don't know what really happened, and sometimes people drag the situation into such an expansive space that what really happened has just been blown up, Andre, out of proportion.
Yes.
So that's part of you taking your dirty laundry to social media. It adds fuel to the fire.
I've often wondered about those young ladies in particular. There are guys as well, but most of the young ladies, when these things are made public, these private videos are made public and so on. And I often wonder about them as to how they were able to manage this whole thing and to be able to move on with their life. I often wonder about that.
Of course, the damage. None of us thinks of the consequences and the damage of the person who, you've done that to, right? And we don't even think of ourselves in terms of the next thing is the distrust. For any type of relationship to strengthen and flourish, there needs to be a level of trust, which over time may get put to the test. So if you and I fall out, and the first thing you do before coming to me directly is start blurting out our issues to the world of people out there who don't care, guess who's now taking a mental note of your fighting style? It's me. And now I'm thinking twice about what I can and can't let you in on. So it really erodes the trust, Andre. I mean, relationships have broken up for that. I mean, people could never trust you anymore. And even if you make back with the person, you still have that at the back of your head. This is what this is saying.
Yes.
So the trust will never be 100%.
Yes.
You will always be saying to yourself, I don't know. So it kind of hinders, even trying to be honest with that person. You start to withhold things because you're so afraid, you're living in fear. You don't know if you want to be part of that. It also creates resentment. After the wrongdoing, you might decide to patch things up and forgive the blabbermouth, but at what cost? Whether you mean to store it or not, you have now seen what this person is capable of, and you cannot unsee it. We cannot unsee things. All the onlookers have had a sneak peek into your issues, and it wasn't through any choice of yours. So many times we when we do these things, we don't realize that people far and wide get into our business, and so we begin to resent the person who put that information out or who's talking about it.
Let me ask you a personal question. If, for example, you have a significant other, and that significant other to post private pics or videos of you, okay, puts that in the public domain via social media, and then you going through the fallout, right? You're going through the fallout. Now, if you have similar videos and pics at that moment there, would you do the same thing?
Well, no. I mean, no, because it's a mess already, Andre. It's a mess. I think, again, like I was saying, the height of anger, we do things and then we regret it, right? But I think boundaries are important. Even if somebody put out pictures about you, I don't know that it makes it any better for you to now go and put pictures out. It just complicates the whole thing and it gets worse. For me, I just know who I'm dealing with, and I have to deal with what's already out there. I don't think it's going to be prudent for me to add pictures to what the person have already. To me, it doesn't add any value, right? So, no, I would not.
Okay.
It also attracts the wrong attention. They say misery loves company, and there's plenty of it around waiting to leech onto any fragment of potential bad news on the horizon. Your socials may be private, and you swear everyone who has access to you only wants the best for you, but I promise you, there is at least one person loving the drama with their eyes peeled for the next post announcing your downfall. So don't give them that satisfaction.
That's for sure.
So it attracts the wrong attention. I mean, there are people, your enemies. You're not happy that your enemies have to see all your business online, all your dirty laundry. That you have a problem with your children, you have a problem with your mom. Some of us take to social media to quarrel with our parents. Like the first caller was saying. You ask them what's wrong, you want to have a conversation with them, they will never tell you. And all of a sudden you'll see something on their social media saying wicked mothers of the West. you know what I'm saying? So they use social media to throw words or to have an argument with their parents.
He also made a very good point. He was saying that after you addressed it by saying what's wrong, what's on your mind, what's bothering you, and the person says, I'm fine, right, whatever it is. And he says, the minute you see, maybe you turn your back, he was saying that this person now would be messaging you and telling you what the problem is. They couldn't face you to say to you.
That's right. Exactly.
And I don't understand that. Isn't that what?
I honestly think, Andre, we have become so socially awkward, if you really think about it. And that's why I think I've had 1 or 2 shows about communication on Unrestricted, where it cannot be, we cannot underestimate the fact that we just don't communicate, Andre. We've become more socially awkward.
But isn't sending a message via the phone a method of communicating?
It is, but the thing about it is that we have taken off that personal connection. You know, I mean, I was doing some research when I looked at online virtual teaching versus in-class teaching, right? And they're saying there's a threat with the fact that the hands-on teaching is not there anymore. You want to see the person and feel the person, where the teacher can hold your hand and show you how to do it, or you can hear the teacher's voice right in your face, so you can interpret that feeling of involvement. We don't have that anymore, right? And I think what it does, it helps us hide behind our emotion when we use the phone to message each other instead of speaking to each other face to face. It's a lack of self-confidence, Andre, and social awkwardness. Even some managers cannot even speak to their staff. They manage them, but they cannot have a conversation with them. So they will send an email. They will hide behind the email, and even sometimes when the email has words maybe that are harsh or inappropriate, they will not sit with the person to explain or to break down what really happened. And so these are the reasons why some of us really hide behind social media, and some parents don't encourage it. Some of us are even afraid to speak to our children, Andre. So we send them a text message instead.
Yeah, can you believe this?
Some parents are afraid of their children. We've created that monster, or we've created the space where the child cannot come and express, or even express to their friends, because everything is done on the phone. If you ask them something in person, they cannot, in all fairness, respond to you adequately. And employers are telling you the same thing. When people come to an interview now, you cannot even see. If the interview is virtual, again, you don't feel the person's energy. So there's no connection. That connection is removed. So how are we promoting honesty? How are we promoting openness with our own children if we cannot even have a conversation with them? We have to send everything through the phone. You see? So that's why the children actually use the phone to argue with their moms and their dads, because if you're not going to have a conversation with me, if I put it on Facebook or I put it on TikTok or whatever, I will get your attention. You understand?
Yes.
So now everybody know that you're beefing with your child. Everybody know that you didn't give your child money. Everybody know. So instead of having a family meeting or that kind of close conversation,
I remember Beanie Man went through something similar with his daughter. I think he had promised her either an apartment or something, or a home. I don't remember exactly what it was, but apparently he didn't come through, and she put that out there. Yes, talking about the kind of person that he is, right? And he now, thank God, he was mature about it. He didn't go down that road. He was questioned as to what was going on, and he just he didn't say anything negative. I guess he was a lot more mature. And
that's the thing. Some of us have to know how to manage, because you asked me a while ago if somebody had done that to me, if I would post pictures, right? Again, you have to manage. So as a dad, he has to manage that to quell the whole thing getting worse,
Yes.
and all his business. Because if that child is upset already, and that child has already said something, if he doesn't manage it, that child could end up saying more things.
Yeah, she actually said, having a child, it's not sufficient to pay school fees.
That's right.
Because that's what she was saying about him.
So
that once he's paying school fees, she must be fine.
So he now has to call her and have that conversation with her face to face, so that it stops, right? You have to also set boundaries. You have to set boundaries early in your relationships and in your families. Because for me, I would say to my children, no, that's not anybody's business. or even when you're going through something. How many of us are going through things and we post instead of us talking to friends and family, we post our feelings online. In the way we say things and the way we throw words, and or we having an argument with our man, we will not say, Andre, you are a pig. We will say, all the pigs in the sty need to die. And since Andre know that you have an argument with him, he starts to feel bad because he realizes that you're throwing a word. Or friends will say, which pig? Because they know that that's maybe not your style, or that's maybe not you. And all of a sudden you're just wilding out on social media. So these are some of the things that happen. It tarnishes the relationship and loses supporters. After certain things are said, no matter how much you apologize, there's just no going back. You cannot take back certain things that are said, Andre. That's like we just cannot unsee something that we've seen. You cannot unsee it. So even if you apologize, there's no way, you just cannot go back. You can say you didn't mean it, or you just said it to hurt the person, but something in the relationship has now changed forever. Forever. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter how many times we apologize. When you have done something like that, to expose something on social media, the relationship never gets back to the place of repair, almost. Unless
and sometimes the perpetrators do not want to understand that.
Yeah. Unless like we say, you go probably to counseling and you have forgiven each other 100%. Even then, I think even then, somebody has something a little in their heart, on the side, right?
Yeah, because you're always wondering, could that person do that again?
Do that again. Example: if you're in a relationship with a person who can't help but verbally explode whenever you argue, you don't realize how much your confidence will be affected over time, because you will internalize every negative utterance thrown at you. So every time, you're confident, it chips away at your confidence. So it tarnishes the relationship and you just lose support. You lose supporters, you lose support in the relationship. Ultimately, you and your support system could end up losing hope in the relationship. You'll find people aren't so willing to offer encouraging words like they used to.
So, Lotus, where do we get the idea that people could do those things, right? Post pics, post videos and so on, and actually still expect the person to still love them? How did we get to that stage?
Andre, you probably have to ask the psychologist in terms of how our mind works. But you're right. That is a legitimate. I don't know how we expect the person to continue to love us. But again, what I'll say is that with my own limited understanding, I will say that's when anger overtakes us. So in the moment, we are not thinking. We're just not thinking, Andre. So we're not thinking of whether the person will still love us or not. We are in a rage. We feel slighted. We want to embarrass the person.
Yeah.
We want to hurt them back, and we don't think of whether or not the dust will settle, right? It's only afterwards. It's just like when you're drunk, Andre.
Yes.
It's only afterwards you say to yourself, oh my gosh, did I post these are the things I said? Or you start to get the comments and you start to realize, well, what have I done? And you cannot take it back.
Exactly.
So I think we get overcome with anger. That's why this is in the research. It's saying when you are angry, when you are hurt, don't let social media be the first place you go. Call a friend, go somewhere else, but don't take your dirty laundry to social media, because you will not be able to take it back. All right? So there's always another way. Instead of sharing with the town as you shout from the rooftops, try having real discussions with people who could offer real solutions for you, or just be a well-needed listening ear. What happened to all friendships? What happened to our friendships? So a lot of us we don't go to our friends anymore. Seek counsel with those you trust in a safe environment. These close ones are likely to have more context surrounding the situation. So your friends may know what's going on. Your friends may be more suited to say to you, well, X and Y, here's what to do, or why did he feel that way. So you have a situation where you can come and discuss instead of taking it to social media to people you have no idea, you don't know who you're talking to. All right, so they're saying that at least that way, consider therapy or couples counseling. Speaking to a professional can work wonders. Hopefully you will be able to nip it in the bud before anything else escalates. So you can talk to a counselor if you're having, relationship problems. You can talk to a counselor, try to see how you can put things together instead of going and just blasting your significant other or your children or your boss. Even workplaces, some people take their issues to social media. They cannot take it to their boss. They don't want to talk to the boss, or they don't want to talk to their peers, but they will throw words on social media for what has happened. And you forget that somebody will have to hire you again. Many times when we do these things, people see us as they don't want us in their organization. You have to think of it like that, because if you can go and say that about the place you work, and I'm saying that's not to say every situation is not different. I am not promoting that. I'm just saying if you think of it, people are looking at what you're saying no matter what it is. So if you're looking for another job, somebody say, isn't that the girl? That's the girl who really blasts that company online. I don't know if I want that person. I don't know if I want that person working here. So we have to be thinking of that as well, Andre. And these are some of the things you
and it's true, Lotus, when you see where we are angry, right? We really don't think logically at that time. I remember many years ago, a partner of mine, right? There was some rumor that I said something, okay? Not necessarily about him, but maybe somebody in his circle and so on, right? Now, I got wind that this thing was out there. And imagine, I tried desperately to reach him. I tried desperately. I called and called, trying to reach him to see if I can explain to him. He wasn't interested. All he wanted to do is make the thing public. Okay?
Oh, really?
So he had access, of course, to the facilities to make it public. So he didn't want to hear what I had to say. So anyway, he went ahead and he made the thing public, right? And he was just all wrong about it. So by the time he finally now called me, because he had to return my call, I'm explaining to him, and he's apologizing and say sorry.
And you see the
I was
damage
so
is
upset.
already out there.
I was so upset, by what I heard and this kind of thing. And he just felt he just needed to do that.
And
he felt that if I had called him, that would have probably caused him to change his mind, which he didn't want to do.
He didn't want to do.
Imagine that.
And after the fact, the ripple effects.
Then he comes
it's already
now.
there, because people now there are people now that are going to believe it unless he comes and apologize. And very rarely do you see some people taking accountability for reversing what they said and come online and say the same way you destroyed me publicly. I think it's important for you to say something publicly as well. I believe that, Andre. If you're going to say something about a politician, you fight with them, you say whatever, and you realize that it has really damaged the person's reputation, I think it should be big of you, if you realize that you were wrong, to come and say, you know what, I was upset. I should not have said that. This is inaccurate. I think it makes you look even better if you did that. But a lot of us, we don't take accountability. We don't want to correct it, and the ripple effects are already there.
Yes.
That's why I was saying to you that we cannot unsee things, and it has gotten far and wide. You know what some people do? Whenever something comes out on social media, they take a snapshot of it.
Yes, that too.
They make a copy of it. So even when we try to delete it quickly, somebody else, is in possession of it. So these are the things we have to think of. If we don't press the button or we don't put these things out there in the first place, then we do not have to try to do damage controls afterwards. So when you air your dirty laundry, just remember that it destroys trust and privacy. There are permanent consequences. Social media posts are public, permanent, and can affect your reputation for life. Right? It is not a solution. Publicly venting brings dirty laundry into the open, but does not solve the underlying problems. Right? So it is not a solution. And better alternatives: address conflicts through private, mature conversations with your partner, a trusted friend, or professional therapist. And exercise discretion. Think carefully before posting, as the world is watching and you may regret the loss of that privacy. I think a lot of us have to think really carefully, use our discretion before we run to social media. And just, I mean, I know some of us really look for attention and validation, but we have to look at how much we share. We a couple of years ago, there was a rapper who was killed because he shared his location.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember that, yes.
I think,
in the States.
I think it's Pop Smoke.
Yeah, right, that guy.
Not mistaken. You're part of that, right? And that's one of the things they tell us with oversharing. Some of us overshare too much. If somebody want to attack you or somebody want to, know what you're doing, and when you put out all your business and you say where you are, you say what you're doing, they're paying attention.
Almost a ball-by-ball commentary.
You. Yes, they're following you, they're stalking you, So some of us have to be very careful with the amount of sharing we do.
So let me ask you a not so bright question. So for people,
why is it not so bright?
People like me, people like me, for example, I don't fancy all that stuff, all this social media stuff. I'm not even on Facebook, to be honest with you. I've never been there. I'm just not interested. So am I out of step, with the reality, the future? Am I out of step?
No, Andre. I mean, it's your preference. Some of us are more private than other people. I mean, as a matter of fact, there are some people in the public eye, like yourself, that work in media, work in the public eye, and people know nothing about them. That's their private life. They don't see the need to share that, or they see the need to be more measured in what they put out there. So it's not like you're out of touch. It's your choice, right? All of us have choices, right? We make choices because nobody makes you put the things on social media. You're the one going to post it.
Yeah.
So if you've decided that you're not that type of man, then you don't have to do it. The dilemma comes when you have a woman who feels like you must post her every 5 minutes. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
Sometimes you might have one person in the relationship who is very out there, who wants to be out there in the world showing everything, and the other person wants to be more private. I think it works best when both people are social media animals.
So is that the whole validation thing, that the female or the male feels validated if you post, if their significant other post their pics and things like that?
Yes. Maybe self-confidence, maybe some insecurity. They want people to know they have a man. There are some people you don't know if they're in a relationship or not.
Exactly.
But there are some people who want you to know that they have a man or a woman, because it really adds value to their lives, to their existence, Andre. That's what they feel. They feel that way. So you might not want to post your woman, but your woman will want everybody to know that Andre Paul is my man.
Yeah.
You understand? and so that may create a problem, because you might be like, I mean, I don't need to be on social media, but she's pouting and she's saying, well, I mean, I love you and I want everybody to know that you're my man. How do you navigate, that?
Imagine that. I mean, and long ago, the way you make that statement is by going, in public with the person, right?
Yes, exactly. Because people will see you. But because in the days today in social media, in the social media world, and what we use it for, and how it has taken over our lives, and if we don't get likes, we just don't feel like it's working, Andre. If they don't get a like, or even things like not necessarily derogative information, Andre. Somebody might write an article, take their time and write the article because they believe in what they're writing, and they might get just 2 likes, and I'm sure sometimes, depending on the person, they might feel kind of bad why nobody is liking my article. So we really thrive on the response of others on social media.
And that you said for us to feel validated. That's what you're saying. For us to feel validated
and for us to feel important. We must, the likes and the followers, and this is what make us feel like we are. Do you think
the Cardi B's and so on feel that same way? The Kardashians, you think because it's all about, as you said, how many likes, how many followers,
but I think theirs is slightly different, only because they have a product that drives people to them no matter what. So for instance, Cardi B is a rapper, so the fact that we have access to music, to her music online, snippets of it, of course people want to listen because you like Cardi B as an artist, right? The Kardashians had a TV show. People are on the show, you know them for that. So obviously anywhere you see Kim Kardashian is dropping a piece of information, you're tied to it because they are celebrities. They now have a product. But people who, us, you and me, that we're just in the world, we're just posting a pair of pants that we just bought. And if nobody likes the pants, we will not wear the pants.
I remember one time Cardi B posted something about a bag she bought. And I mean, it took her to the cleaners over that. Yeah, why are you paying so much money for
you see,
a bag?
that's the thing. And there's the downside.
And
because Cardi is sensitive.
Yeah, she was.
Cardi feels very bad when these people are depressed.
She took it hard.
She said certain days she's very depressed because of the reaction of her fans or people who make comments. That's why I'm saying to you, the dirty laundry airing really breaks people down because of the comments and the reactions of people. So that is why we have to now be very careful with what we're posting, how we're posting, what we're saying, what's coming out of our mouth, because it is part of our resume online.
Agree. But that is really something else, Lotus, what you have brought to the fore there. The issue is, doing those things to make us feel important. And so on. Wow.
So I'm going to close by saying, there are some social media self-care tips. Resist the urge to be passive-aggressive online. You don't need to share an article titled 20 Reasons Why You Should Date a Piece of Shit with a caption already on it. So you throw in a word. Even if you think it's funny, it will invite pity, and you don't want pity. You're better than that. You want respect. So you have to be careful with the things. If you feel compelled to write some sort of status about your bad experience, sit on it for a day or two. You might change your mind when you're in a better mood. So practice the pause, Andre. So if you're angry and you're in a rage or something is bothering you at work, sit on it for a day or two before you actually go and post. Don't be drunk on social media. If you're going through a rough time and you're drunk, with a platform to say whatever you want from behind a screen, just shut it down and go on Netflix instead. Go and watch a movie or do something instead of being drunk on social media. And there are groups online that are specific, they are meant for specifically venting out your relationship. So there are particular groups that are formed for that. That's what they're saying. If you want to discuss maybe your divorce, you can go to an actual divorce support group where if you share certain information, you will get proper advice or proper support. You understand? So these are just some of the little tips that we want to take.
I was just looking
when we're thinking of going on social media.
I was just looking up the definition of validation, and you're right. Recognition or affirmation that a person or their feelings or opinions are valid or worthwhile.
I know I'm right, Andrew. Yes, we do, and it's something that is big right now. We do look for validation.
But I think maybe the vast majority of us, maybe that's why we didn't really get many calls. I think this one really hit home.
Yes, because we are I think we all guilty to some degree. Addicted to the phone, and we vent online. We should really think twice before we do that.
And I think maybe some of our listeners, including myself, never even looked at it like that we are addicted to this thing. So it's time for some serious, introspection.
That's why we have no more connection, Andre. We don't have the intimacy is leaving us because we don't have the time. Like you say, I couldn't believe it when you said somebody is dancing whilst on the phone. Andre, you know how good a dance is?
Exactly. That's what so to me it says that she's not interested in the guy. That's the impression I'm getting.
She's not even not interested. She doesn't even realize the addiction is so bad that she doesn't even realize that she's missing out on the connection with this person.
Yeah.
You see? So we're so into the phone and so addicted to social media that we miss the intimacy. And what it does, it also turns us into robots, Andre.
The whole, socializing thing, that's why you go out to socialize. And imagine the entire night. Because I'm there early enough. I see them, they're just on their phone for the entire night. You just see the light in their face like that. Sometimes they even take the calls right there and say, but how are they able to hear what's being said?
Let me challenge our listeners. See if you can go without your phone for a day.
Well, I don't think I can do that one for sure.
You cannot do that, Andrew?
I'm always thinking that
I know
I
what
may
you
get
mean,
an important call or something.
But you see, I mean, but think about it. If nobody is to call you on that day, okay, nobody is to call you on that day, would you be able to live without your phone?
Of course.
For a day?
As a matter of fact, Lotus, I mean, anybody who knows me will tell you, right? I do not keep my phone on at nights. Okay, once you say I'm going to bed, that phone goes off, and that's that.
And one of the things we can do, Andre, the phone actually records how much usage, how often we
it
are,
actually tells you
on the phone in terms of screen time.
Screen time.
And what I do, I monitor that, because I think it makes you can actually feel bad for yourself if you see that your screen time was up by 2% or 5% or 20%, and if it's down, it makes you actually feel better if it's down, because you're not on the phone, you're doing other things.
Now, sometimes when I see my screen time, it says to me 3 hours something. That's for a week. I'm asking myself, huh? I spend so much time on the phone?
That's what I'm saying. You don't
3 hours something?
because it can happen so quickly. Even with Facebook.
But let me ask you, there are people, or I guess I'm asking a real dumb question, who probably have 10 times those hours?
Of course, Andre, because the time goes quickly whilst people are addicted to their phones and they don't realize how much time they spend on their phone. Andre, I mean, I just put a tracking thing on my Facebook because I wanted to make sure that I don't utilize Facebook past a particular amount of time. So when that time has been achieved, it just blocks me. It just sends my message, the notification up, and say it kicks me off. Right now, I could either remove it and go back online, or say to myself, this is the discipline I want for myself, so I have maxed my usage for the day. So these are the little tools that we have that we can actually say we can implement, so we can spend more time maybe talking to our boyfriend, talking to our husband, talking to our wife, spending some time with your children, asking them what really happened in school today, and actually listening. Because sometimes, even if my daughter is speaking to me and I'm on the phone, you know what she would do to me? She would say, what did I just say? So then I would say, oh, you said, and then she would look at me like, what you a mess, trying to relate, So we can do things like that, so we can understand that it's important to make better connections with our families.
All right, Lotus.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening.
That was a very, very interesting presentation there today.
Yes, thank you.
And I think the take home for me is, that almost obsession with a phone, where you become addicted to this thing. That is
airing out your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
That is not going to be washed, but it's going to be dragged. So we have to think of that. Thank you, guys. This was Unrestricted.
So. Thank you very much, Lotus, as always. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, Andrew.
All right.
Have a wonderful day.
So, folks, you've been listening to and viewing Unrestricted with Lotus, heard and seen on REV-UP St. Lucia every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So join Lotus again next week, Wednesday, same time, 9 o'clock until 10 for another Unrestricted. All right, so our friends on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, etc., we'll take a little break and get back to you for Hard Drive.